Okay, Ben, we continue to follow even more breaking news, this time from Iowa, where we were promised at least partial results from last night's caucus.
An extraordinary mess thus far. Steve Garagiola live in the newsroom following the results after all of that chaos last night. Steve, I know we're starting to get some developments now.
Well, I've been watching the live feeds from Iowa, and I can tell you it is still a chaotic scene there. Within the last half hour, they have announced they now have slightly more than 60% of the results available. So the wait for a winner continues, and no word how long that wait might be. Now, this is, of course, bad news for the eventual winners because they lose the chance for a victory speech. Good news for those who underperformed, who escaped to New Hampshire under the radar. So how did this mess happen? The problem in Iowa is a software program. County chairs tried to use the program to send in results from their caucus locations last night. It is reportedly a very new product. It wasn't tested, and it just didn't work. So they used cell phones to call the Iowa Democratic Party hotline. Many folks left on hold for an hour or more. Many others just gave up. Democratic Party officials have stressed there was no hacking, there is no indication of manipulated or false results. They are certainly under a lot of pressure in Iowa, but might be just adding to the confusion with the release of partial results, which really have very little meaning. There is no word yet on when they might have complete results, no guarantee even that it will be today or tonight, so that wait continues. One more little tidbit. Next Tuesday is the New Hampshire primary. All the candidates have already moved on to New Hampshire. The next caucus is scheduled in Nevada on February 22nd, and late this afternoon, their Democratic Party announced they will not use the same software or vendor or product that was used in Iowa, Nevada promising a smooth caucus. It has been anything but in Iowa as the caucus kerfuffle will continue.
Oh, boy.
Back to you.
And we'll await word now on whether or not these are made official, these latest numbers that we have, Steve, and we'll get back to you when they do. All right, Steve. Boy. Well, now to new developments in the toxic ooze investigation as the court battle against Gary Sayers continues in Madison Heights.
Today we heard from the city on the concerning topic of what exactly was going through the storm and sewer pipes. Consumer investigator Hank Winchester has more from the courtroom. And Hank, we got to see more of that green ooze that we've seemingly been talking about for a long time now.
It seems like we've been talking about this for a while, but now new photos entered into court evidence today. It was a big day in the courtroom. You know, when that ooze started spilling onto the roadway, it was the color that took us all by surprise. Remember that bright green color? Well, now we're getting a look at the chemicals that caused that color and what that did to the pipes underneath the building.
You're looking at the earth underneath the pipe. So the pipe is gone? The pipe is gone.
We're now getting an inside look inside the sanitary sewer pipes covered in what appears to be green chemicals eroding the sides. Madison Heights Director of Public Services showed the images of the pipes underneath electroplating services, the building owned by Gary Sayers.
Severe signs of decay and erosion.
He says the pipes lead to a treatment facility in Detroit, and then the water runs into the Detroit River. But the problem prosecutors are getting at, these pipes can be damaged by hazardous waste and chemicals, for example. And if that can happen, things can seep into storm sewers and drains.
Essentially, they all lead to the Red Run drain, Clinton River, and Lake St. Clair.
So if, for example, groundwater is contaminated and it got into the storm sewer system, would that contaminated groundwater enter the storm sewer system and be carried to the Red Run drain, the Clinton River, and Lake St. Clair?
That's correct.
Another interesting part of the trial today, the city's code enforcement officer taking the stand, saying that she spent years giving Gary Sayers verbal warnings. He would comply, then a short time later, she had the same problem. Well, official written citations were never handed over to Sayers until 2015, and by then, as we all know now, things were out of control. So a lot of finger pointing, people wondering, you know, why wasn't more severe action taken sooner? Doesn't sound like he was really going to pay attention to it either way, but a lot of finger pointing right now as to why the locals, feds didn't do more sooner. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Hank. And Hank will actually have the latest on the toxic ooze investigation in Madison Heights this Sunday at 8 during our Defending the Environment special. You can also catch up on Defender Karen Drew's investigative work on the contamination concerns along the Detroit River.